Every coach I've ever talked with has insisted that you can't be the best unless you can beat the best. For the Washington Redskins, the road to Super Bowl 25 goes through San Francisco, and the team that's been football's best for 2 seasons.
60 minutes, what you gonna do for 60 minutes, baby? 60 minutes, that's all it takes. 60 minutes, baby. Come on, Marco, baby, let's go. It's January, Marco. Let's go, baby. It's January.
Shoot for an early lead and take aim at stopping Joe Montana. A Joe Gibbs battle plan that for a while would be carried out to perfection. For most of the afternoon, Washington hammered Montana and the 49ers, but the 2-time defending Super Bowl champions were able to take their licks and hold on. The Redskins, meanwhile, stretched themselves to the limit. But on this day, the limit was just short of what was needed. Perhaps gridiron gods or maybe fate had determined that floating footballs and victory should fall into the Niners' lap. The pain of knowing they were so close to an NFC title game was obvious. The realization that a season in which they had meshed so harmoniously was now over was likely harder to handle. But one loss will not dampen the spirit that burns within the Redskins, a spirit that, like an eternal flame, seems to shine more radiantly each year.
Get your face on him, get your face on him, man.
Okay, hey, let's get after
Get
it.
in the right frame of mind.
They die out on this field if that's what it takes. Let it all
Leave
go.
it out.
Hey, let's go now. Let's go now. Let's go.
Set! 380! 380! 380! Set!
Come on, dude! Come on, Wilbur!
The Washington Redskins began the new decade the same way they ended the old one, by promising to themselves and their opponents that they were going to leave everything they had on the field. The Redskins coupled an aggressive defense and special teams with an attacking offense, which was equally effective through the air, with one of football's most explosive passing posses. And on the ground, with men who ran hog wild through the trenches. Whichever method of travel the offense chose, it often reached its end zone destination.
Back goes Rippon. Sets. Going deep. Got a man wide open. It's Clark. Touchdown!
The story of the 1990 Washington Redskins was one of a team that came together when it needed to most. It was the story of a team that continued winning in Redskin style. Opening day at RFK Stadium trumpeted the return of longtime Redskins offensive coach Joe Bugel, now the head man in Phoenix. It didn't take long for his old team to generate both pleasant memories and present disasters.
Warren and Johnson wide to the right, Middleton wide to the left, and Rippon's going to pass. Out of the near flat to Sanders at the 30, 25, down the sideline 20, cuts back at the 10, to the 5, touchdown, Washington Redskins.
Whoa! What a big play that was!
Mark Rippon threw 3 touchdown passes, and Washington's defense caused 5 turnovers as the Redskins blew taps for bugle and blew away Phoenix by posting their first opening day shutout in 17 years.
Picked off. Alvin Walton's got it. Far side 40. He's gone. Touchdown, Washington Redskins. 4th interception of the day. This one 56 yards on the return for a touchdown.
Defense also dominated Dallas in Week 3. Darryl Grant and company tossed Troy Aikman around and sacked him 8 times. And Darrell Green scored Washington's only touchdown to secure victory number 2. Green enjoyed an All-Pro season in 1990 and provided speed and savvy to a young secondary. Number 35, Martin Mayhew, who led the team with 7 interceptions, and number 47, A.J. Johnson, are both second-year men who combined with Green, Brad Edwards, Alvoyd Mays, and the team's leading tackler, Alvin Walton, to lead a defense that finished 3rd in the NFC in takeaways. The Redskins secondary stifled even the best of quarterbacks in 1990 and had the Cardinals mighty confused in Week 4. But it was Stan Humphries filling in for an injured Mark Rippon and Gary Clark, who caught 8 passes for 162 yards, who really stumped Phoenix.
Here's the lob down the far sideline. Gary Clark at the 5. Touchdown, Washington.
Clark scored twice to lead Washington to 31 second-half points, giving the Redskins a 3-1 record. With passes being thrown to him from every direction in 1990, Clark was able to turn in his 3rd Pro Bowl season.
Rippon to pass. Quick hitter out of the outside. Got Clark beat his man to the 40, the 30. Good night, Irene. He's down to the 20. He's to the 15, to the 10. Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
Number 84 led the Redskins receiving posse last season with 75 catches for over 1,100 yards, and he scored 8 touchdowns. Clark's posse partners also enjoyed solid seasons. Ricky Sanders snared 56 passes. And in his 11th season, Art Monk, who was 3rd on the NFL's all-time receiving list, continued to amaze as he caught 68 passes and scored 5 touchdowns.
Rippon goes back, sets, lobs it up in the air, going deep for Monk, the near side. Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
What a great catch.
I'm telling you, he is some kind of football player.
Unusual faces off the field and intimidating ones on it made RFK Stadium a house of horrors for opponents in 1990. The Redskins' special teams and defense made them tough at home as they won 7 and lost just once. Washington added some new names like Johnson, Williams, and Geathers to the familiar ones of Mann, Grant, Cook, Stokes, and Rocker to form a defensive line that improved markedly over 1989. Veteran linebackers Wilbur Marshall, Raven Caldwell, Kurt Cavea, number 51 Monty Coleman, and rookie number 55 Andre Collins often seemed to be in opponents' backfields before the quarterback. And they, along with the entire defense, were fully aware of their mission in Week 7 when they hosted the Philadelphia Eagles.
We got to contain Randall Cunningham.
Is that the key?
That's not easily done, though. That is the key.
Before the task of shooting down Philadelphia's star began, the Redskins honored a pair of bright lights from the past. Joe Theismann and John Riggins entered Washington's Hall of Stars. And in the early going, it was a future Hall of Famer who set up the game's first score.
Can he get to it at the one? Diving catch. Art Monk with a big play.
The Hall of Fame move.
Got to figure Riggs up the middle, huh?
Yeah, I like this setup.
And here goes Riggs, right up the middle. Hit and stop. And in the end zone. Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
Gerald Riggs helped give the Redskins a 7-0 lead. And then the defense, led by number 78, Tim Johnson, began a sack attack on number 12. Washington caught Cunningham 4 times for sacks and held the explosive Eagle offense to a single touchdown. With the win, the Redskins improved to 4-2 and prepared to face the #1 team in football, a team they had lost to at home the week before. The Redskins' 2 contests against the Super Bowl champs-to-be were mirror images of each other in 1990. In both games, Washington found creative ways to score.
Pass, he's right, he's going to throw the option pass. Sanders wide open. Touchdown, Washington Redskins. Whoa! What a great place for a bootleg play.
Humphreys with a bootleg around the right side. Stop, dodges the rush, comes back inside at the 10. Still running, fakes the pass, still running to the 5. He's going to the end zone. Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
But in both games, it was New York that made the big play when it needed it most. Three losses to the 2 teams who would play for the NFC title had Washington just a game above 500. And the way things began in Detroit, it looked like the Redskins would fall to 4-4.
He is back again. Quick rollout right. Now looks back to his left. Fires it out over the top. Bounced off one receiver into the hands of the other. To 10. Near side 5. Down to the 1. End zone. Touchdown.
That should have been an interception. It turned out to be a touchdown. Holy cow. You're kidding. I can't believe that.
Detroit received the lion's share of bounces most of the day, and they led by 17 after 3 quarters. Gerald Riggs kept the Redskins in the game with a pair of touchdowns, and then reserve quarterback Jeff Rutledge embarked on a comeback that, even for him, was a bit hard to believe.
I look at it as a miracle. I've never been put in a situation like that. I was nervous somewhat when he said go in because I haven't played in a long time. At the same time, I was excited about it and knew that, hey, if something could happen, things just worked out. It was a shock after the game that it was over and that we'd come back and won like that. It was just a great win for the team, in fact, that nobody gave up. And I think that's a trademark with the Redskins.
Rutledge is back, 4th and 6. Over the top, he's got it complete to Clark. Spins at the 25 to the 20. Breaks a tackle to the 15. He's gone. Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
What a comeback. It's unbelievable right
Gary Clark's touchdown cut the Lions' lead to 7. And with seconds remaining, Rutledge had a chance for the tie.
Rutledge on the draw. Back up to the 5. He's diving. Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
Whoa, unbelievable. What a storybook finish here.
I can't believe it.
In overtime, Rutledge, who in a little over 2 quarters completed 30 passes for over 360 yards, led Washington to the most improbable of comeback wins.
Snaps a little low. Rutledge has got the hold. The kick's up. It's long enough. It's good. Redskins have beaten the Detroit Lions with one of the most dramatic comebacks we've ever seen.
Rutledge tried to continue with his magic in Philadelphia, but vicious hits sent him and Stan Humphreys to the sidelines, forcing running back Brian Mitchell to be a passer. The Redskins were roughed up and pushed around by the Eagles in a 28-14 loss that would be remembered into January. Mark Rippon made his return against the Saints the following Sunday and showed no signs of a 7-week layoff as he equaled a career high with 4 touchdown passes.
Receivers out here to the near side.
No play action.
Rippon is rolling. Throws it to the end zone. Monk. Touchdown.
Art Monk continued his rise in the record books, and Gary Clark caught 2 touchdown passes en route to a 31-17 triumph.
Pumps once, now goes it up. He's got Clark wide open. Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
With a win, the Redskins were 6-4 and poised for the stretch run. Following a disheartening loss to Dallas, Washington was in need of a leader. 5 games remained on the schedule, 3 against playoff-bound teams. Injuries had depleted a once-deep squad, and if the Redskins were going to make the playoffs, someone had to step forward and carry the team to that next level. Carry is exactly what Ernest Biner decided to do.
Really, Ernest is pretty much not the kind of guy that comes up and talks to you a lot or says things. He came over and sat down next to me. He said, hey, I just want to let you know that, hey, I want to carry the full load. I feel good about myself. He says, hey, I feel real good about where I am, and give it to me. And basically, I looked around and I said, hey, in case you didn't look, there's nobody else to give it to. We got a one-back offense here, and you're the back. So we gave it to him.
And they gave it to him a lot. Biner averaged 30 carries a game over the last 5 weeks. And 4 times he went over the 100-yard barrier. He finished 4th in the NFL in rushing with over 1,200 yards and was selected to his first Pro Bowl. But he did have a bit of help from his offensive line. With men like number 79, Jim Lachey, leading the way, the Redskins line led Washington to the 4th best offense in the NFL. Often, the praise due an offensive line is reaped by others. For Lachey, the satisfaction of winning his personal battle each Sunday is what's important.
I enjoy going out there and attacking somebody, taking a guy one-on-one the whole game and find out at the end of the game who's a better guy. I think it's kind of like, the old war story. Hey, we got a battle out there, and each offensive lineman has a battle against the guy they're playing. And to win the war, each guy has to win their battle.
Rarely did Lachey lose a battle, as he brushed aside even the best of pass rushers to earn a trip to the Pro Bowl. For his efforts against Miami, he received perhaps the ultimate honor for a lineman, as he was named NFC Offensive Player of the Week. But if he hadn't received the award, Biner likely would have. Number 21 rushed for a career-high 155 yards and scored 3 touchdowns.
Inside, there's Biner still on his feet. Touchdown, Washington Redskins. Ernest Biner
Took the ball and stuffed it all.
All right, there's motion by Monk. Hand off to Biner. Back up
There
the
he
middle.
goes.
There he
He's
goes. 5-yard line. Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
That offensive line is opening some holes today.
With the likes of Lachey, Bostic, Jacoby, McKenzie, Simmons, Schlereth, Grimm, Addix, and Warren opening holes and protecting Rippon, the Redskins pounded the Dolphins and their then number 1 ranked defense 42-20. Choking the life out of the Bears was the mission the next week, but trailing by 9, the Redskins were in need of a breath of life themselves.
Critical 3rd and 2 for the Redskins. Stack on the near side with receivers. Rippon is back. In the flat for Clark on a crossing pattern in the 5. Dives. Touchdown, Washington.
Gary Clark cut the deficit to 2, and with time running out, the NFC's leading scorer went for the win.
It'll be a 35-yard attempt from the left hash mark. Low snap. Kick is up. There's
Up
enough
and good.
Holy cow, it's good.
Chip Lohmiller really put the Redskins into the holiday spirit. And up in New England, what should have been a white Christmas was a wet one. Kurt Gavea played Grinch and turned raindrops to teardrops for the Patriots by stealing this gift and scoring his first career touchdown.
Fumble the football, picked up. It's Kurt Gavea with it. He's off to the races. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Good night, Irene.
In the season's finale, receivers Stephen Hobbs and the special teams, led by players such as John Brandis and Joe Howard, were too much for Super Bowl-bound Buffalo. Lohmiller kicked 5 field goals, and the Redskins prepared for a wild-card rematch. Over the past few seasons, the Redskins-Eagles rivalry has grown into one of football's finest. They are 2 teams very much on a par when it comes to talent, yet neither team can rely on talent alone to win.
All about pride, baby. All day. Let's go. It's all about pride.
Pride was the motivating factor for the Redskins. They didn't forget the beating they took from the Eagles in November. Now, in January, when it mattered most, it was time for Redskins style to shine.
The action fake again by Rippon. Good protection. Lobs it in the end zone for Monk. Jumping, catching, touchdown, Washington Redskins.
Yeah, baby.
Mark Rippon opened the Redskins' scoring with a touchdown pass to Art Monk and closed it with one to Gary Clark. But what went on between those two tosses was the real story of this game, a story that had a familiar ring to it.
We got to contain Randall Cunningham.
Like they had done so successfully in Washington, the Redskins shut down their #1 nemesis.
Big play, come on, man.
Going to pass and lets it go deep. Gets planted as he does. Ball's going to be picked off at midfield by Darrell Green.
Cunningham's teammates could not free themselves from the determination of the Redskins either. No matter which way an Eagle turned, a Redskin was there to stop him or to steal the ball. In the end, an abundance of defense and pride allowed the Redskins to celebrate their biggest win of the year. '90 was a tough season for Washington. Injuries and a schedule with 9 games against playoff-bound teams had them just 1 game above 500 heading into December. But this squad was made up of men who were willing to carry more than their share of responsibility. The Redskins finished the regular season with a 10-6 mark and added a playoff win to raise Joe Gibbs' postseason record to 12-4. Gibbs has won 113 games with Washington, and in 1990 he and his staff once again orchestrated and epitomized Redskin style.
Win with style, man. Win with style. Great job, man. Proud of all of you, man.